This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good morning, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Aaron Gobra. As the Athletics are going to be in action today, we're taking on the Mariners.
That's correct, the Mariners.
And we are going to preview the Mariners today. This week, we are going to look at our own division. In the past, we used to do every single division, every single team. This year, we decided, you know what? We're just going to do our division, because that, in the end, is what really mattered, or what really matters. Ryan Divish, Seattle Times, one of our favorite beat writers, one of the funniest beat writers. We've been having him on for years, is going to join us today. TJ McFarland for our interview down at spring training, the left-hander who was just amazing last year. The amount of appearances, what he did. He'll be here at 10:35, Ryan Divish at noon, and then Seth Brown, Sarge, at 12:35, as we'll get you ready for the Athletics and the Seattle Mariners. Cody, how are you today? How is everybody on Talk 650 KSTE and also on 95.5 KWNR, The Bull in Las Vegas? I hope everybody's doing well. How are you?
I'm good. More importantly, how was your birthday weekend?
Birthday weekend was great. I got to thank whoever did the whole happy birthday Chris Townsend down at Hohokam Park and during the spring training game. I appreciate that on Saturday. That led to people like texting me going, "It's your birthday. Where are you?" Here at the ballpark. Oh, yeah, I'm down at Coeur d'Alene playing golf at
nice
a
golf course.
At a club/resort called the Coeur d'Alene. If anybody in San Martin, everybody ever get a chance to go down there, it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so we played golf and then had a nice dinner in your old neck of the woods, Morgan Hill, at a very nice restaurant. So we had it was a great birthday. It was a great birthday weekend. Got out and played it again yesterday, is trying to get as much golf in as possible before the season starts, because once it starts, as they say, it is all over. For everybody watching today on YouTube and on Twitter, X, I am wearing I think it'd be the 2019. It's the elephant. It's the St. Patrick's Day hat that we wore at the Tokyo Dome in Japan. I only bust this out certain times of the year. This is one of my most special hats, let alone A's hats. But this hat, maybe put out on social media. Not a lot of people have this hat. This is not a hat that you're going to be, it's got the clover. Where's the clover, Cody? You see it somewhere around here?
Oh, yeah, it's on the very top right here.
Very top, yeah. So
there
you don't, when you walk around A's games, you don't see this hat. Like, you really had to be on the trip or someone had to hook you up. It is a very rare A's hat, but it is the St. Patrick's Day hat that we wore in the Tokyo Dome in 2019. I'm not sure if we've ever worn it anytime else, but I love it. So I busted it out every single year on St. Patrick's Day. So it is St. Patrick's Day. Do you know what St. Patrick's Day is, Cody? As everybody goes out.
This was a trivia question.
And you people just go out and get drunk all night long. Well, why are you? What is St. Patrick's Day?
Believe it or not, I did not partake in any St. Patrick's Day shenanigans this weekend. I normally don't. I celebrate 316 Day for Stone Cold yesterday. I would say I think it's the death of St. Patrick, right?
Correct.
It was a trivia question we did a few weeks ago at Trials Pub in San Jose.
St. Patrick's Day is a religious and cultural holiday held on the 17th of March, the traditional death of St. Patrick, the foremost patron saint of Ireland. St. Patrick's Day was made an official Christian feast day in the early 17th century and is observed by the Catholic Church, the Anglican community, the Eastern Orthodox Church, and the Lutheran Church. A day that commemorates St. Patrick and the arrival of Christianity in Ireland. There you go. Which then we, as the people we are, turn it into another party and booze fest. Being the good people that we are.
I always tell people when they are going out to celebrate St. Patrick's, I'm like, you can just drink every weekend or every day. You don't have to, and just make it a normal day. Like, you don't have to make St. Patrick's Day where, like, everyone goes out boozing. Like, growing up in Western PA, seeing what people did there and, like, down by Pittsburgh and Oakland, that's where Pittsburgh is. The University of Pittsburgh is in Oakland. I saw this weekend, there was a lot of people partying. There was a lot of chaos that happened. You have to see that everywhere. That was never my thing. I never partook in any St. Patrick's Day stuff. I felt if I wanted to drink, I could do it any day of the week, not just single out one day of the year. But I get the significance of the day. I just don't understand why we had to ruin it as Americans.
Happy St. Well, normally there's a parade. Everybody has parades, right? Boston has a parade.
Chicago,
New York has a parade. Like everybody turns the river green in Chicago. So yeah, it's a fun holiday. My kids are now. It's like scary. My kids are now like, Dad, we have big St. Patrick's Day up at Cal. I'm like, oh my God. But everybody be safe and enjoy yourself. Bob Nightingale. We got a lot to talk about today. Bob Nightingale, is this just moments ago? Yes. At 11:01, Bob Nightingale has put out the secret about what's been happening with the Athletics. That is a major, major change. I could lead with this. It's just come out, but I will not. I'm just going to tell you. Our friend Bob Nightingale from the USA Today has finally put it out, and it's going to shock a lot of people. And it's when you talk about how there's a change and how we're going to do business, boy, this is the number one thing that's going to show change. How this isn't your grandfather's A's anymore. This is a whole different. I will get to it. And it just came out 11:01. We've known about it. I've been waiting for the actual factual number, but it's going to blow your mind. I'll tease it with this. I have something that the A's lead in all of Major League Baseball. No, don't go look.
Oh, I'm just opening Twitter. I'm not going to look.
Yeah, you were going to look.
Actually, I was, yes.
Yes, of course you were. You got ADD. You constantly have to be, no, just sit back. I will have.
Take me on the ride, okay.
You're going to be like everybody else. There's something going into this season that the A's lead all baseball in, and it's probably never happened before, and it's going to shock you. A lot of big talk leading into this year. Negative. The A's lead something in all of Major League Baseball. They're number one out of all 30 teams, and it will shock you. And it's going to be there's going to be some of it's going to be props to all of the people in Sacramento. So hold on to that. But I did want to lead with this. As we were getting ready for the fantasy draft for no, I'm not leading with fantasy baseball. But I found something very interesting we had our fantasy draft for our internal little fantasy league that we have. And it was on Saturday, which, of course, is my birthday. So I was out enjoying myself. And while these dorks were all sitting around on a Saturday doing a fantasy baseball draft.
I was at a Sharks game.
And I bet you did your draft. You didn't auto draft.
No, I did. The game ended and I did the draft. So
of course you did. Yeah. Like I said, baseball dorks on a Saturday doing in a fantasy league we're not even playing for money. Because we can't. Now, if we were playing for money, like they do, like
football,
like the football where you see all like the funny guys where the guy will have like the blow up doll and he's got to go to dinner with the blow up doll because he lost the fantasy, or people have had to get tattoos, or there's some crazy stuff when you lose your fantasy league in football. I've seen guys dress up and they've had dress up as women and play golf. There's all kinds of funny
baseball
things.
Players are bat boys.
Chris Bassett had to be there. So I get it, but still these guys are like all in. It is what it is. So I, being a normal, respectful person, just auto draft, especially on a Saturday on my birthday. And I did get a lot of A's, and I did get my number one guy that I had to get. I had a target that I had to get this guy, and that was Luis Arraez. I'm going batting average.
You're blowing the lead on who you got first overall. But yeah, you got Arraez. That's fine.
Well, I wasn't stupid. I'm like, if I can get Ohtani or Judge, I'm going to leave them 1 and 2, right? Yeah, because I don't know where I'm drafting, right? So I did get Aaron Judge. By the way, Aaron Judge is 2 for 20 in spring training.
Oh, time.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. But I noticed something, because the narrative is, remember, there's always narratives. And the narrative is batting average doesn't matter. It's all about hitting for power. That's all that matters. And we don't care about batting average. So I was going to go out and set my team, and I was going to take all the highest batting average guys. And that's who I was going to rate as my top guys. Well, when just going through it, because I hadn't thought about it, and I was sitting the other night, sitting outside, watching a little TV. It was a nice night, and I just started setting my players because JJ Blade moved way up on my list. Shea Langoliers, Mason Mill. I had all these guys so high, so I would auto draft a bunch of A's players. Do you realize that every single guy that hit for there was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that hit 300 last year?
Yeah, it's sad.
No, that's the narrative that's wrong. Because everybody who hit for high average hit for power. This whole narrative that it's all about power, they're complete hitters. Bobby Witt Jr. led baseball last year with a 332 average. He hit 32 home runs. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit 323. He hit 30 home runs. Aaron Judge hit 322. He hit 58 home runs. Shohei Ohtani hit 310. He had 54. Yordan Alvarez, 308, 35. And Marcelo Zuna, 302, hit 39. The only guy to hit 300 and not hit home runs was Arraez.
Yeah. What, he hit like 314 or something?
He hit 314 and only had 4 dingers.
And he won the batting title.
So all these guys, and the guys that's like, you see Brent Rooker in there at 293 at 39 home runs. All these guys are showing that it is about being a complete hitter. And this whole, I remember we had Mike Petriello on. Mike Petriello on, probably was it last year when he made the emphasis when we were talking about looking at data, and he goes, well, the top guys are not average hitters anymore. And I was like, man, Mookie Betts won an MVP recently, hitting 330 something. Bobby Witt Jr. Look at the guys who won the MVP last year.
Yeah, even Judge, he won the MVP and he hit 300. Ohtani, same thing.
Aaron Judge was your MVP at 322, and Ohtani was your guy at in the National League at 310.
What does Soto hit last year?
Juan Soto was like 288.
Okay, so he still even had, and he had a lot of home runs too.
280's damn good with the power and on base.
He hit 43 home runs, something like that, right?
All these guys, you go down the list. Jackson Merrill had a great year playing center field at 292 with 24 home runs. Ketel Marte at 292 with 36 home runs. All these guys hit. Juan Soto at 288 with 41 bombs. So the narrative that that the guys that hit for average don't hit for power is just not, it's not. We are producing in a positive manner very productive guys who are mixing it all. We're developing, we're not just developing, because we got to a point at one point that we had just a lot of guys there were guys that hit for high average, and then guys that struck out a lot and hit home runs. Well, if you look at last year, we have a lot of guys who are really kind of complete dudes, that they're very, very productive. Now, we may not have the 360s and 350s, like there were certain guys that were able, but those guys were very rare. And to do with power, you had to look like a year with like Larry Walker playing for the Colorado Rockies. It was very rare. We've had guys, whether it was a Tony Gwynn or a Wade Boggs, or guys that could hit for some like really, really high average. But we have a really good mixture in our sport of players that are becoming really complete. They know their strike zone. They have the ability to drive the ball to the ballpark. They have the ability. Athletes are getting better so they can run. They have the ability to get doubles. They're hitting for a higher average. They're making contact. It was nice going through this list and preparing for the fantasy draft that really brought this to my attention going, you know what? There were a lot of guys last year that had really good years. And it was a mixture of putting the ball in play, hitting dingers, driving in runs. I always say this all the time. It's a game of math. The more you put the ball in play successfully, everything goes way up. Everything goes way up. But what we're not seeing is, a guy hitting 340 with not a lot of home runs. What we're seeing is guys hit home runs, hit for average. That's a good thing. And I don't think a lot of people have talked about this enough because we're still trying to play the narrative that the guys that hit for power don't hit for average. The batting average doesn't matter, which once again, there was somebody, I can't remember his name. It was a whole thing we did like last year where they went over every single metric of what helps you win games the most. Slugging percentage was number one, but average was up there too. It was in the top 10. To where there are other ones that you would have thought would have been higher of a metric that didn't translate so much. So yeah, you know what? Hitting the ball at the ballpark, getting extra base hits, and putting the ball in play really matters. And guys did it a lot. The best players, take your guy Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper hit 285. Remember, he didn't have a full year.
Yeah.
285, 30 bombs, 87 RBIs. That's a complete player right there. So the three metrics of home runs, RBIs, and batting average, it still plays. Because if you mix all that together, you have monstrous OPSs. Monstrous. Because Aaron Judge wouldn't have a 1,159 OPS if he didn't put the ball in play and hit 322.
He had we remember what Ohtani did with the 50-50, the 54 homers, 59 steals. But what Aaron Judge did in the American League with the 58 home runs, people don't talk about it enough because we were so wrapped up in Ohtani, as we should have been. But the year Aaron Judge had, he could have broken his own home run record, and he fell short, obviously. But what he did in getting the Yankees to the World Series shouldn't be overlooked because of what Ohtani did. But he's been a great player the last few years. It's just a matter of him staying healthy. But the years he's been really good, he's had a high batting average, and he's hitting for a lot of power, which is something that we'll probably see again this year. But
just take his year as the largest human being. If you mix height and weight, Aaron Judge from the Valley. We got a lot of people listening in the Valley. What town is he from again?
Linden.
I actually played with some guys. We had some guys at San Jose State. We had a bunch of guys who came from Merced Junior College, Community College, and I played with a guy from Linden. But of course, Judge would be drafted by the A's, go to Fresno State instead, then be drafted by the Yankees. But you're talking about a guy who's the largest human being that's ever played baseball, and he played center field.
Yeah,
right. It's not like we're sticking him at DH or hiding him in left field. He's playing center field. He's a monster. When Aaron Judge comes, we get to see him once a year. When he walks out on the field, it's amazing the size of. He is a monster of a man. He's huge. He's a large. If you put Aaron Judge in football gear, he'd look like an offensive lineman.
I was going to say it's like watching LeBron James essentially, but with more weight, go out and play center field because LeBron's that big.
Or he'd be like this is way before your time. Ed Too Tall Jones of the Dallas Cowboys, but he's way bigger than Ed Too Tall Jones was a star for the Cowboys back in the day, but that's when the NFL players weren't this size. Aaron Judge is the size of a monstrous NFL guy, and of course you could put more weight on Judge. Judge would be like a tackle.
Yeah, he's 6'7", 280 or something like that.
Yeah, you beef him up over 300 pounds. He could be like a left tackle because you want your left tackle to be super athletic. You want him to be big and athletic. Your right tackle, you just want to be a monster of you just want him to be this huge human that people can't get around. And he can maul you in run blocking. Your left tackle has to be super big and super athletic because you're usually going to be taking on the best pass rusher because that pass rusher wants to be coming from the back of the quarterback. So you need a super – Aaron Judge, if you beat them up another 15, 20 pounds, could be your left tackle. That's how big he is playing center field. And, oh, yes, hit 322. He had 36 doubles.
Yeah.
58 home runs. I mean, his total base is 392. Did he strike out a lot? Yeah.
He always has. That's
not as much as Geloff,
I mean,
but
wow.
he
How to sneak that in, huh?
He had 10 stolen bases.
But
and Zach Geloff, if you're listening, you know I love you.
Towny struck out a lot too, though, right? I mean, a lot of those guys strike out a lot.
I'm
for
fine with this. I'm fine. An out is an out. I mean, I do want to see you put the ball in play because the defense could butcher it. Good things can happen from putting the ball in play. But if you're this productive, getting on base, hitting bombs, hitting extra base hits, and hitting for average, I can swallow strikeouts. Problem is, it's the guy who doesn't hit for average, who just hits home runs, and has a low on base percentage, has a low average. He becomes an easy out, except we're in that brief moment in time where he'll get hot for like a week. Because if you look at how long a baseball season is, if I get hot X amount of weeks hitting home runs, I can put up 25 home runs. And people are like, hey, 25 home runs. And I can be like, yeah, it doesn't matter. That guy's not very good. Because I can look, when did you – people, we have a lot of empty stats that don't have context. When did you hit those home runs? Like, we never look into that. We just look at the totality of a season and go, oh, hey, man, the guy hit 25 home runs. Yeah, it could have been in a week where the team stunk. Who were you facing? What was the scenario? All of a sudden, you're grip it and rip it in a game where your team's down 9-1. Great. Where were you when things matter? We don't look into things in context. But you look, Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. playing shortstop. Hit 332, 32 home runs, 45 RBIs, 11 triples, 31 stolen bases as a shortstop. We have players. We're not talking about this enough about the complete players. This is what we're hoping Lawrence Butler turns into for a full season. We know Brent Rooker did it last year. When we start talking about Zach Geloff, when we talk about Shea Langoliers with power, more balls put into play, his numbers will be far better. Like, you just start to look at, like, what do you want to become as a hitter? We've got guys, they're doing Trey Turner, who got hurt, but still, what a year he had. 295, 21 bombs, 62 RBIs. Now, I don't need to give you OPS and all that because it's already going to be good. If those numbers are good, you're weighted. When you have a year like these guys did at the top, of course their weighted runs created plus is going to be high. It's a game of math. It all adds up, and it just raises all of your numbers. So, point is, don't listen to this narrative that there's just guys that hit for home run. There's just guys that hit home runs, and there's just guys that hit for average. The guys that are mixing it all, by the way, they have the biggest contracts in the game. You want that? We used to say $200, $300 million contract. Well, if you want that $700 million contract, this is what you have to do. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. last year rebounded, hit 323 with 30 bombs. You do that, and you go into free agency, you're going to get the big contract.
Speaking of him, there was a report out there I remember seeing on Twitter earlier this morning, and on this show, we believe everything we read on Twitter, that apparently the Blue Jays are going to do a counteroffer to his deal because they're trying to. I think they want to try to get something done, or Vlad wanted something done before the season started. So we'll see if it comes out or not. But apparently they're going to try to counter. They're like $50 million apart. We talked about this last week. He wants $500 million in present day value. They wanted to defer it. On average, over 14 years, it's like $3.5 million a year that they're kind of apart on. So like the $50 million. So we'll see what they counter. But I'm leaning more towards I think Vlad enters free agency, but. I mean, the Blue Jays will make one last gasp to try to keep him in Toronto.
Where's he going to go? How many teams are looking to pay a guy who's going to end up being a DH? First of all, how many teams are willing to do that contract? That just shrinks the potential employer. None of it deferred.
Yeah.
Or very few of it deferred. He wants it all now. Who's in that game? Well, if we went down the list of Major League Baseball teams, I would basically say everybody in our division is out, right?
Yes, unless Houston somehow wants to spend the money, but I doubt it. They got Christian Walker now anyway.
I'm just gonna go that. I don't think there's anybody in our division who'd do that.
Nope. I go no one in the Central.
I don't think there's anybody in the maybe the White Sox have offered up, like they offered Machado some big money, but now they're in rebuild, so I doubt they do that. I'm going to let the East lie for a minute. Let's go to the National League. Who in the National League East would do that deal? With now Bryce Harper inked up all these years and he's going to play first base.
The only team, if you look at any of them, would maybe be the Mets. But if they want to spend the money.
Yeah, the Mets going to – because the Mets are now, the way it's constructed, they're so far over the cap, any dollar that they bring on, they're also paying $1 for the tax.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay, let's call Vladimir Guerrero Jr., let's call it $40 million a year, he's really an $80 million a year play. People don't think about that. With the Mets right now, their tax, if you gave him $40 a year, you're really paying him $80 million a year because of the tax.
Plus you have Alonso, who, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Alonso's only a 2-year deal. You could be thinking long-term. You could move Alonso, whatever. I'm just saying, who? Braves aren't. Phillies aren't. National, no. Central? Who in the Central will give him $500 million?
No one.
And who in the West?
I can't count out the Dodgers. But other than that, I would say
who have Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
And they're going to really pay that money. I mean, it really shrinks the pool of who would it'd have to be an AL East team. Coming up next, the A's are number 1 in baseball in this. You'll find out next, right here on A's Cast Live.
Here's the pitch, and it's a hit. Folsom Lake Ford has stepped up again, winning the Triple Crown Award, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, now 7 years in a row. Folsom Lake Ford is a top sales leader in the U.S., along with being top in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Now that's a home run. Don't miss the huge savings on your favorite models at your truck headquarters. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall.
A's starting pitcher Luis Severino joined Towny on A's Cast Live in Mesa and discussed his role as a veteran leader in the clubhouse.
For me, just learning from the guys that like when I was younger, Cesar Sabatia, Ivan Nova, Michael Pineda, Vlad Guerrero. So those guys teach me how it was, how it is to be in the big leagues. So I would try to do the same thing with those guys, if they need me. My first year, I was trying to impress everybody, so right now it's just, trying to get ready for the season. So if I need to talk to those guys and let them know, you don't have to be 100% every time. You don't have to go 100% every time, When we need you to go 100% out there and pitch, that's the day you want to compete. So don't go out there and go crazy and try to get hurt and taking ground balls or trying to catch a fly ball that you don't need to. So just to, let them know what I learned while I was younger.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast.
Single game tickets are now on sale for the 2025 season. Secure your seats today for opening week against the Chicago Cubs and lots of exciting giveaways, including an A's basketball jersey, a straw hat, and 3 bobbleheads. You'll be nodding yes to our Brent Rooker, Mason Miller, and Lawrence Butler bobbleheads in June and July. More hot ticket homestands as your green and gold take on the Giants, Padres, Yankees, and Mets. Get your tickets at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Looking to stay up to date on all things A's? Head over to athletics.com/AceCast. That's athletics.com/AceCast to listen to A's baseball in full 24/7 coverage of the A's, only on A's Cast. With a single click, you can stream great shows, live pre- and post-game coverage, and of course, all the great action of the A's this season. Head to athletics.com/AceCast today.
A's Cast Live continues from the studio. Here's Chris Townsend.
So quickly for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Orioles aren't going to sign him for $500 million.
What do you mean? New owner says he wants to spend. So yeah, no, they're not going to get him.
Rays aren't going to do it.
No.
So literally, he has three. We have broke it down to, if he hits free agency, he's got three options: the current team he's on, the Yankees, or the Red Sox. Unless there's something dramatically that we. Once again, Freddie Freeman signed in L.A., and are you really going to break the bank on a guy who's going to be a DH? The Dodgers are smarter than that. They don't do that.
Yeah, the team that
and then the Mets, just looking at the tax, it'd be crazy what they'd have to pay to get him.
The dark horse for me, and I mentioned this last week, and I think it was Shai Davidi from Sportsnet who came on when we talked about the Vlad contract and the Blue Jays and the AL East, said he felt the Nationals could be a team down the road because they have a new ownership group. They might want to spend money. The ties with Vlad's dad playing there or playing with the Expos, but
that's not happening.
They're
It's $500 million. They didn't even offer Juan Soto $500 million.
I don't think he gets $500 million at the end anyway.
Let's go through this again. They wouldn't even offer Juan Soto $500 million. They're going to offer Vladimir Guerrero Jr. $500 million.
I don't know, different ownership group. I don't know.
You're crazy. By the way, it's just come down. Luis Severino has been named opening day starter for the Athletics. Congratulations to Sevy. And it's what we expected. You signed for the big bucks. You are the guy that is really the first piece of the change in culture of the organization. Congratulations to him. I mean, this is what he's getting paid for. There's a reason you went out and you gave him the money that you gave him. At the time, it was the biggest contract of the offseason in baseball before Juan Soto. You looked at his body of work for the Yankees and for the Mets, the fact he's played on the big stage, that you're going to go out and you're going to give him the money. And you're giving him the money because you want him to be that lead dude. The guy that gives you 30-plus starts, 200 innings, you're our guy. And to lead this franchise for the next couple of years, along with J.P. Sears and Springs and on and on and on. So Luis Severino named opening day starter in Seattle for the Athletics, which then means he would be not the opening day guy in Sacramento.
Trying to think, okay, so if you go by, it's a 4-game series.
4-game series.
So you figure Severino, Springs.
Is there a day? There's not a day off. No,
it's 7 straight games before.
So it's going to be the 5th starter.
So
probably Estes.
Yeah. Or if you flip-flop it, you have Estes go 4 and you have JP Sears start the opener at home. Oh, no, because who'd you have? Because you're figuring Beto's in the rotation too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would either be Beto or Estes. Depending on how they line up the rotation. I don't know.
There was I don't know if it's that big of a shocker move, but Ohtani is for the Athletics. Sad news. He is not going to start the season with the A's. A little shoulder deal. Obviously, he was a big part of the bullpen last year where he's averaging 98 miles an hour, and that was one thing with the A's we always talked about. They needed to increase velocity in the bullpen. Well, Mason Miller brought that to the party, and Ohtani was the guy who really brought that to the party also. So that kind of changes the bullpen. So we now have bullpens of 8 guys. So you're going to, just off the top of my head, you're going to have Mason Miller.
Yep.
You have Leclerc.
Yep.
You're going to have TJ McFarland.
Yep.
Who you're going to hear today. You're going to have Hogan Harris.
Tyler Ferguson.
Can I finish?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just.
Can I finish? Tyler Ferguson. You're going to have Murdoch, the Rule 5 guy, for now, because you got to keep him. Then you're going to have either Joey Estes or Mitch Spence. That's your 7. And then Sterner, the guy you picked up from the Rays.
Yeah, who hasn't given up a run in spring.
He's 11 innings scoreless. That would be your 8. Justin Sterner. Or you'd be going out and get somebody else. Because Holman, they sent down Ginn, they sent down Holman, they sent down X amount of guys have been sent back down. Like people are, why did Nick Kurtz get sent down? Well, he was going to play in the spring breakout game. But that would be your bullpen right there, I'd have to think, with Ohtani as being out. Sterner would probably take Ohtani's. I'm not saying he's going to take his role, but he would take his spot. And then the combination, whoever wins the 5th spot, the other guy will go to the bullpen. So you basically got 2 guys, which, let's face it, at the start of the year, you really do need 2 guys that can give you length out of the bullpen. Whoever it is from the right-handed side, Spence or Estes, and then from the left-handed side, you got Hogan. Hogan Harris has had a great spring. Hogan Harris will be a starter, I believe, for the A's in years to come. But Hogan Harris can give you innings. So if you have somebody that goes out early and does not have a good start, and everybody's worried about starting pitching early, and you got to pull a guy, you need somebody, hey, I need somebody to give me 2-3 innings, maybe even 4. Hogan Harris can be that guy from the left side, because remember last year with the A's when they got off to a pretty decent start, kind of shocked everybody? The A's were the last team to make a move with the 13 pitchers. So you had 2 guys, Kyle Muller, if you remember, and Mitch Spence were this role where you had 2 former starters pitching out of the bullpen, and they could come in, whether it was a good scenario or a bad scenario, they could give you length and save your back of the bullpen guys. And that was huge early for Mark Kotsay and Scott Emerson, that if you got down and you had to pull a starter, or if you had a starter who really worked hard and his pitch count just vaulted up, Mitch Spence was phenomenal. That's what earned him the right to then become a starter and make 24 starts. Kyle Muller, he was very good at it early, but then once he started, and Kyle Muller's over in Japan now.
Correct, yeah.
Like him a lot. Good guy, root for him. But Hogan Harris will now be that guy. And probably, whoever it is, Estes or Spence, whoever wins that job, whoever does not win that job, then goes the bullpen. So that gives you a nice little righty-lefty combination. If you need length early, that will be for you. That's the option for you, which I think will be good. It's sad, but Ohtani's will be back. I got to say, how many games are left? 6? 7?
Saying 7. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Starts today. We have an off day tomorrow. Then, 7 games.
With 7 games left, the A's have been pretty damn healthy coming out of spring. Can't say that for everyone. Mookie Betts, by the way, is not going to play in the 2 games in Tokyo that start tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. for us. 3:10, I think, first pitch from Japan.
So that wouldn't be 3 a.m. would already be
Tuesday
the next
morning.
day.
Yeah, Tuesday morning for us. So it'll be Wednesday for them. No, that'll be Wednesday. That'll be Wednesday evening for them. They're 16 hours ahead. So it'll be like 7 p.m. for them. They're 16 hours ahead.
Well, tomorrow at 3 a.m. is Wednesday.
Oh, tomorrow at 3 a.m. is Tuesday.
So tomorrow's so that'd be tonight.
Yes, technically. Well, it's technically tomorrow, but
so
it is
3
tonight.
a.m. So 3 a.m. is coming up in X amount of hours. That would be tonight. That's 3 a.m. Tuesday is tonight. So it starts basically today for us.
Yeah. So it'll be 7 p.m. in Japan on Tuesday morning.
So Mookie Betts is not. He may be sent. He has some type of illness.
Yeah.
Now I did see Shohei Ohtani on the gram.
It's Instagram for everyone who doesn't know what the gram is.
Shohei Ohtani, I'm telling you, they put on, for us, the 2 times I've gone to Tokyo, they put on these unbelievable parties. They were showing, Shohei Ohtani on Instagram was showing all these pictures and videos. Freddie Freeman I think he was eating sea urchin for the first time, but they're showing cutting up the tuna and everything. It's like, oh, man. I don't know why. I don't know what the illness is, but it looks like Mookie Betts will not be participating in Tokyo.
Apparently he's lost, according to Dave Roberts, Betts has lost close to 15 pounds due to the illness. But they're saying he should be ready for
clearly
domestic opening day for them.
I would say, and not to be vulgar, but it's probably he has gotten some type of bug, and fluids are leaving his body at a rapid rate. That's how you lose 15 pounds fast. And that's awful. I'm not going to say it's food poisoning, but it's something like he's got something and he's in a hotel room and it is not good.
No, not at all. That does sound good.
It is not. Well, and then that's the other thing too. It's like when you're that sick, You want to get on a 10-plus hour flight? No.
Reportedly, they might send him back to the U.S.
No. What do you want to spend 10 hours in a airplane bathroom?
Yeah. Or
No. All right. So big news today. Luis Severino is your opening day starter. Number 2 is we pretty much kind of got an idea of what the bullpen is going to be. Looks like Justin Sterner, I would have to believe, will be the guy that will be taking over for Otañez. It'll be Mason Miller, Jose Leclerc, Tyler Ferguson, TJ McFarland, Hogan Harris, Noah Murdoch, and probably Mitch Spence or Joey Estes. Whoever doesn't win the 5th starter, and Sterner will be your guy. Now, the news that I was getting to from Bob Nightingale. We've been alluding to things are really, really different. Things are really, really different. Now, I applauded Sacramento and to all our fans on KSTE 650 about how sales had been going for the ballpark versus how things have been going in Tampa. Because in Tampa, there's tickets available for every series. There was always the, hey, if the Rays left St. Pete and played in Tampa, all would be good in the world. Now, they're not selling out already, and they may. There's time, but there's tickets available for their entire season at the ballpark, the Yankees spring training complex, which also the Yankees A-ball team plays there. Bob Nightingale has put it out. The most expensive median ticket prices for the upcoming season are, out of all 30 teams, average ticket price. Who has the highest average ticket price in all of Major League Baseball? Who am I?
The Dodgers.
You have 30 teams to select. Dodgers are number 2 at $177.
Yikes. Okay.
Try another one.
Yankees.
Yankees are surprisingly 9th at 105.
Ooh, I'll give you one more.
Think small. Think small, old ballparks. Small.
Red Sox.
Red Sox are 5th at 132.
Wow. Wrigley?
Wrigley's 6th at 108.
I don't know. I mean, when you're saying old, I mean, I don't know what else is really older than those. There's nothing older than those two.
The Athletics.
Oh, wow.
Are number 1 in Major League Baseball. The average ticket price is $181. And we're sold out for the year. $181. On the secondary market, Sacramento has been so strong and so good that if you want to go see the Yankees, you're probably going to pay over $300. Probably when we get to that point, who knows what it will be. I can't wait to see when Juan Soto and the Mets come to town. But the highest ticket price, median average ticket price in baseball is the A's, and we're sold out. This is going to be my San Jose State math. We will make more money as everybody tripped out about the small ballpark, the AAA ballpark. Remember all the stuff that's been said. We will make more money off ticket prices this season than in any year in the history of the A's. I'm not going to disparage any of the towns, but Philadelphia, Kansas City, Oakland will make more money this year charging these prices in a AAA ballpark than any year. Now, it's that apples to apples comparison because obviously time has changed and ticket price. But look at the ticket prices. You can go back to 1989. You can go back when the A's went to 3 straight World Series. You went to 3 straight World Series and won 1. Go back to 1989. Go back to 1990. What were the ticket prices? Now life was different. It was a long time ago. I understand it. I was in high school. But they weren't charging that. Oh, you're leaving the Bay Area. How do you leave the Bay Area? Giants are 15th at $89. Giants are middle of the pack. Oh, it's I was about to say Pac Bell. It's SBC Global Park. It was Pac-Bell, then it was
SBC.
SBC Global. What was the third one?
AT&T.
AT&T.
Now Oracle.
Or it went from AT&T to Oracle?
Yeah.
It's only been 4?
Yes.
So what happens when you do a namings deal with a communication company that keeps selling?
It's like Candlestick was how many different names? Like Monster Park and
3.com
something like 3Com.
Or,
yeah, there's a lot of different names for
that's what happens.
Candlestick.
So there you go. How can you leave the bigger market in the Bay Area? Oh my God, that's crazy. And I know some of the stuff I say people are not going to be happy with, but it's the facts. The San Francisco Giants are 15th. Cleveland has higher average ticket prices than the Giants. The Nationals, the Rangers, the Braves, your Pittsburgh Pirates have a higher. Pittsburgh is 10th. The Giants, big bad San Francisco, the Bay Area. Oh my God. The Giants are 15th at 89. We're basically double what the Giants' average ticket price is in Sacramento. So guess what? The Giants can have double the attendance. This math's not going to work out perfect, but essentially, if we have half of what the Giants had in attendance, we'll make the exact same amount of money off tickets. You don't think there's a demand in Sacramento for baseball? You don't think Sacramento wants baseball? You think we could have ever charged these prices in Oakland? Are you kidding me? We could be, and they would make every excuse in the world. You could never charge ticket prices like this for 81 games. No chance. No chance. There is straight demand in Sacramento for baseball. Highest average ticket prices in all of baseball is in Sacramento, California. Who would have ever thought that? That's unbelievable. Talk the talk, walk the walk. A lot of people talk. A lot of people give you opinion. A lot of people. This is straight facts right here. I'll just read it to you. The most expensive median tickets for the upcoming season are the Athletics, who play this season in West Sacramento at a 14,000-seat Sutter Health Park. We're going to have more than 14,000 a game, right? With the berm and everything.
Apparently that, and then with the it's somewhere in the 14,000, and then there's going to be some seats above the clubhouse, I believe we were told, too. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's somewhere in the 14,000-ish range.
How about Tampa? Tampa's third because they're playing at the Yankees minor league park. So just getting out of these old, terrible stadiums, you all of a sudden can charge different prices. Here are the median tickets for all 30 teams. Who's dead last? Dead last would be your
White Sox.
No. No, White Sox still play in a very large market.
I was just basing off how bad the team was. Is it a bad team? It's not going to be Colorado because Coors Field has good. They're always having a bunch of people at the games.
Yeah. Oh my God. Rockies are terrible. The A's go play. Remember when we played in Colorado? The place is packed.
Yeah.
Colorado is 20th.
Marlins are last.
Very good. Very good. You just had to rein it in.
That's my California University of Pennsylvania math.
You had to rein it in. And you kind of figured it out. Who's really bad. But number 2 will shock you. Number 2 will shock you. Number 29th, an average median ticket in Major League Baseball. They are the second lowest in all of baseball. It will shock you.
West Coast?
Yes.
Arizona.
Give me that monkey down there.
Oh, wow.
Give me that monkey. He's making his debut, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry if you're listening on 650 KSTE. You don't get to experience this. KWNR, the Bowl, HD2 in Las Vegas. If you watch on YouTube or you watch on Twitter, you get to see all the shenanigans that we do. But the Rally Monkey is making his debut in 2025. There's the original Rally Monkey. Yes, we got him right here. The Halos, those idiots still have that Rally Monkey. The Angels are 29th. Artie Moreno spending all of that money. They're in Southern California. They're in the largest. This is where the market size is another narrative that is a lie.
I heard one today that was good. We'll have to get to
it. It is such a lie. It's a bigger market. The Raiders prove that. How many people in the Bay Area tried to sell you We live in the Bay Area. We love the Bay Area. But, at some point, you got to call people out. All the different people who I've lived in the Bay Area my entire adult life, okay? But all these people in the Bay Area, they just lied. The Raiders left, went to Vegas, and they're now worth, according to Forbes, 1 year was more than the 49ers. Now they're basically even. Oh, the smaller market, the blah, 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 blah.
Heard that this morning about us in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you hear it. And Las Vegas is going to tell you, we have 40 to 45 million people visiting Las Vegas a year. How many times the narrative right here, the narrative, you're going to a smaller market. Yeah, we went to a smaller market and we're charging 100. And what was the old median for our tickets? It was really low.
I don't remember the exact number, but we were not in the top 25 probably.
So $181. And by the way, when the Red Sox, Dodgers will come in next year, let's just see what the secondary market is charging then. People are going to be fighting to get into the ballpark. I
think the Yankees are here later in the year, so they'll be curious to see.
It's like at the end of the year.
It's like September, yeah, I believe, when the Yankees are in town.
Can you imagine if the A's are as good as we think and the Yankees are good and it means something? What's the average ticket price going to be then?
I'm curious when they actually are here. I know it's September. I can't remember if it's like the first homestand of September or if it's the last one. Because I know the last homestand we played the Royals up in West Sacramento. We end with the Astros and Royals, so it has to be beginning of September. But yeah, I'm curious to see what it's like when we play the Yankees.
And by the way, kudos to the Sacramento Kings, because obviously we're doing a lot of the Kings are helping us in Sacramento, and the Kings were like, what are you charging? You could charge way more. Kings, if I'm correct, the Sacramento Kings have the fourth highest tickets in the NBA.
Sorry, the Yankees are here in May. It's the Red Sox that are here in September. Either way, you got those two teams coming in. It's going to be interesting to see how those, like beginning of like middle of May when the Yankees are, it's like May 10th, and then early September is when the Red Sox are here.
But kudos to Sac.
Oh, Ray just texted me. Average ticket price for the A's in 2024 was $31.
Well, there's three things in life. I believe everything I read on the internet.
He just sent me the list.
I believe everything I read on the internet. I believe everything I see on social media. And I believe everything that Ray Jensen says to us. I believe everything. The Karate Kid, the black belt, Ray Jensen, he's getting a black belt in now a different fighting technique.
Yeah, he teaches. Yeah, he's all over the place.
So, by the way, if any broadcast departments ever get into a fight with each other, we're winning hands down in baseball. I mean, Johnny's a big dude, and he's nuts. Right? We got Johnny. Chris Carey's a little soft. Chris Carey's a pretty boy. I doubt Chris Carey has ever hit anybody in his life.
I feel like we're going full Anchorman with this. The news team's fighting. Now
we're
talking
so
about
we got
teams.
Ray. We got Johnny. All right, we're good there. You've slimmed down. I would have liked you better.
But I bulked up muscle-wise. So
your fighting weight was strong, but we still got you. You're young enough. Korak and Kavanaugh are going to be sitting drinking cocktails watching all this.
Delaire's a big dude, height-wise.
We're not counting Delaire, though. We're just counting people who are on air. We got Dallas Braden.
No, Dallas, yeah.
Grew up in Stockton. You kidding me? Dallas can throw hands.
What about Sachs?
Oh, Saxy.
He's still in great shape, and he's in his mid-60s.
Shooty Babbitt's 65, and he's yoked.
I think I put Ray then them because Ray has the fighting experience.
Ray, you're sitting like what was Sparta? We're sitting. Ray's the first line of defense. He just takes everybody out. I will be playing golf at the country club.
So you'll be with Korak. And
I will be I'll have a drone, and I'll be monitoring this fight from the country club. Just saying.
So
I'll be with Korak at Cambrian Park.
So what is our starting five? Ray, Sachs, Shooty.
Ray, Johnny, Shooty, Sachs, you.
Okay, so I'm the bulk guy.
You're
the guy that comes in. I'm the scrap. I'm the guy that comes in for the scraps.
You're a middle reliever. You're a middle reliever. Yeah, that's
when
our
everyone's
five.
softened up, I come in.
That's our five. Korak, Kavanaugh will be on the deck having cocktails. Chris Carey he'll probably get in a pedicure, so he won't be a part of it. I'll be at a non-disclosed golf course somewhere, monitoring your guys' fight. That's how but I think we win hands down out of all 30 teams.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, and wait a minute. What are we gonna do? We got Braden's in there too, so we have 6. We're deep. We have a bench. You'll be on the bench. You're coming off the bench.
I'm the middle reliever.
Yeah, you're our 6th man, like in the NBA. But once again, kudos to Sacramento. Like everybody, smaller market. You have the number 1 median ticket sold out, and you have the 4th highest ticket in the NBA. And our average ticket last year was $31. And we used to have the you buy a pass and you get in for every single game. Remember that?
Yeah. Was it Access or something?
A's Access. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification right here on A's Cast.
So just want to give kudos to you, Sacramento. You're 4th in the NBA in ticket prices. You're number 1 in baseball. You're proven you do want it. You're all in.
It's awesome. I mean, when you told me that, I tried not to play Homer and go A's.
We're going from $31 to $181.
Yeah, he sent me.
Anybody want to play that market size thing again for me?
I'll share this with you.
Ridiculous.
It's our ticket prices from 06 to 24. We can look at it later.
It's like the whole market size thing is like people just don't get it. All right, coming up next, we're gonna preview the Seattle Mariners right here on A's Cast Live.
Single game tickets are now on sale for the 2025 season. Secure your seats today for opening week against the Chicago Cubs and lots of exciting giveaways, including an A's basketball jersey, a straw hat, and 3 bobbleheads. You'll be nodding yes to our Brent Rooker, Mason Miller, and Lawrence Butler bobbleheads in June and July. More hot ticket homestands as your green and gold take on the Giants, Padres, Yankees, and Mets. Get your tickets at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Lawrence Butler joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live to express his gratitude to the A's after securing his 7-year contract extension.
I mean, it's a surreal feeling. I mean, like you said, I love this organization. You know, they were the only organization that took a chance on me out of high school, you know, in the draft. And, you know, I thank them solely for that. And, you know, I'm just thankful and I'm just grateful, you know, humble to be, you know, chosen to, you know, be able to have this opportunity. And, you know, I wouldn't want it with any other organization than the A's because, you know, they've showed me love since day one. And, you know, I've loved them, you know, 100% back. And, you know, it's just been a mutual thing that, you know, me and the A's have, you know, grown to become, you know, a great relationship with everybody in the organization from top to bottom.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast.
Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest team highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more, all delivered free to your inbox. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
A's outfielder Brent Rooker joined Chris Townsend during spring training to discuss the confidence inside the A's clubhouse.
It's a very real confidence. It's a very real optimism. It's unique in that it's a confidence that also comes with the knowledge that we haven't proven anything yet, and we know that people on the outside still don't believe in us, but we believe in ourselves and we believe in each other, and we are at a very cool crossroads of being hungry to compete, wanting to compete, and knowing that we can compete while also being confident what the future looks like. So it's a cool feeling inside the clubhouse right now. Guys are working really hard. Guys are communicating well. We're talking. We're trying to help each other get better, and that's a cool place to be.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
A's Cast Live continues from the studio. Here's Chris Townsend.
He's one of our favorites. Ryan Divish, Seattle Times.
Still waiting on him. Not the green room, as we call it here. But when he is here, we'll get him.
Where are we playing today?
Mesa. Kavanaugh or Korak and Johnny on the broadcast today. Johnny's back from Boulder.
Yeah, Johnny had a great visit with his daughter up in Colorado, which was super cool for him.
Hey, FaceTime me on Saturday.
Time to get
He FaceTimed me on Saturday.
Time to get away. Beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful campuses on this country. But there's a lot of beautiful campuses in this country. I don't know how many are really better than Boulder. University of Colorado.
Everything I've never been, but everything I've seen from pictures and playing at their stadium on NCAA Football 25, it looks awesome. The surrounding area, just everything that goes on there. I've been wanting to visit that part of it. I've only ever driven through Denver and been to the Denver airport.
You've never been to Denver?
No, my wife's been to Coors Field, but I have not.
Oh my God, Denver's beautiful.
I drove through it. When it was snowing too.
I've been up to Breckenridge, big ski place.
Yeah, I know.
But I was there in the summertime, and some people got altitude sickness.
Yeah, I mean,
like back then, it was years ago, but it was back then. Like you have like a couple beers, and you're like, "Wow, man," because you're in the altitude. But Boulder, absolutely beautiful. So good for Johnny. Good for Johnny to go up there and see his daughter as she is doing well in school, and life is good for Johnny D's daughter. As it's been a big year for a lot of us where we've sent our children off to college, which also means we're empty nesters and we can do a lot of different things now. But Johnny D back with Ken Korak as we got Mariners. You know, Ryan Divish, last time we talked to him, we were at the winter meetings in Dallas and not much has really changed because Jorge Polanco, who they traded for, they had re-signed before we saw him in Dallas, right?
No, I think he
was that just after.
I think it was after, yeah.
And then what else have they done?
That's it. I think they brought in Donovan Solano on a minor league deal. That was a big thing that happened in the offseason.
I mean, this is a team that has been so close, and they have such outstanding pitching. 85 and 77. It's just like, and I know there's a lot of belief when you start looking at, well, now you're going to have, remember they traded for Randy Arozarena, because Justin Turner was not happy. I don't know how much they wanted him back. We'll find out from Ryan Divish. He's now with the Cubs. He's in Tokyo. I saw him hugging Dave Roberts and they reuniting, but he was like, they're not doing enough. So has Seattle done enough? Randy Arozarena, and hoping that Julio Rodriguez turns into the player he thinks he's going to be, like the last couple weeks. He played really, really well. Edgar Martinez took over. What's Kevin Seitzer's their hitting coach now?
Yeah, because Edgar's still involved with something, but he's not the hitting coach. But I think he still has a position, or
he's still going to be around. But it's like you look at their rotation. I made sure that I got some of their rotation for our little fantasy thing. Yeah, sign me up for Logan Gilbert. I made sure I got him.
He had a great year last year.
Look at the rotation: Castillo, Kirby. Wu.
Yeah, well, I like Wu. He's a keeper on one of my fantasy baseball
Miller.
leagues.
I mean, that dude. This is a top 5. This is an old school top. There is no reason. Like when you look at it, there is no reason why the Seattle Mariners should not win. From you look at a pitching standpoint, win the American League. Forget just the division. They by far have the best rotation in baseball. They have no offense.
Yeah, and that's with Kirby. I believe he's starting the year on the injured list, but you still have Wu and Gilbert and Castillo and Miller, and they have Emerson Hancock. They have guys that are coming. They have a lot of good pitchers. It's besides Cal Raleigh and Julio, they don't have anybody else.
Well, Cal Raleigh is that he's going to hit home runs, and everybody's going to say that's great. But the rest of the time, he's hitting what, 220?
If that. I think he hit 220 last year.
Let me look at his note. Yeah, Kyle Raleigh hit 220 exactly.
Yeah, I think he had 220 with a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, 34 home runs. He had 100 RBIs. You get that out of a DH/catcher. Do we have Ryan?
We do.
Ryan, welcome back to A's Cast Live. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're just talking about the last time we talked to you was in Dallas for the winter meetings, and I'm like, has anything really happened? What's been going on with the Mariners since the last time we talked?
Not much. I mean, Donovan Solano, they signed him and they brought back Jorge Polanco, but other than that, they didn't do much. I mean, slightly more than, but that's about it.
How frustrated are Mariner fans right now because we know the rotation is as good as it gets? It's the best in baseball.
Like for a literary reference, it was like Lord of the Flies, maybe on Twitter. I don't know. You know, there's two different ways. I mean, like, you know, the end of the scene in the parade in Animal House when Kevin Bacon is yelling, all is well, and he gets trampled. It's kind of Jerry DePoto and Justin Hollander. They're all is well. No, fans just not happy.
Yeah. For all of our young listeners, you got to Google that. It's a great reference from Animal House. Jerry DePoto. I mean, what do you do if you're him? Because obviously you know more than we do about the television situation, their cable deal, or should that not even be a part of it?
No, I mean, like, it is a part of it, like the cable situation and you know, the uncertainty surrounding it. But it, like, that didn't lose money. It just didn't make as much money as they're used to. And I mean, they have an ownership group. It's not one owner. It's an ownership group that is fronted by two billionaires. And if this ownership group looked at it and just said, look, we need to invest more money into this team and take some of our own money that isn't based off of revenues projected or revenues earned over the last year and just injected more money into it, then they wouldn't have that problem. And it's not like they can't afford to do it. They just choose not to do it. And I think that's the frustrating thing, because yes, you look at the rotation and you say, well, this is really, really good. And they gave them roughly $15 million to spend this offseason. And some of that was even created when the Mariners didn't bring back Josh Rojas. They non-tendered him instead of paying him like $5 million.
All right, when you start looking at the West, you follow the division as good as anybody from what you do in Seattle. How and you've been seeing all these teams at spring training. How do you handicap the West right now?
I think everybody's good other than the Angels. I think the Angels are pretty terrible, but I mean, you look at Oakland, they played as well as anybody the last 50 games of the year, maybe even longer than that. Houston's Houston. They're always going to be decent. You know, they'll always find a way. Like I thought last year when they started off so poorly, they're done. It's finally the year they're done. Nope, they righted the ship. They figure out a way to win. And I mean, I expect them to do the same. And then, like, with Texas, I mean, you know, their offense is going to produce. It's just whether or not their bullpen's any good or whether or not their starters are going to be any good. I mean, like, John Gray just went down with a freak accident. So, I mean, you're relying on Jacob deGrom and some of these guys. I mean, like, I thought Kumar Rocker was great last year. Flaherty, not Flaherty, but Leiter, not so great. But, yeah, I mean, like, every team you look at in this division has flaws in some way. And, like, to me, some of the flaws were avoidable, like if you're the Mariners. But, you know, it's like they're all going to be decent. They're going to beat up on each other. I don't look at any one of these teams and think they're like a 93 or 94 win team right now, at least as presently constructed.
Now, at the end of the year, you had Hall of Famer Edgar Martinez come in, and Edgar's still going to be a part of the hitting program. Kevin Seitzer, I loved him as a Royal back in the day, and he's been now a long-time hitting coach. The strikeouts were historic. They were alarming. It's last year's Mariner team is one of the highest strikeout teams in the history of the game. What do you see different maybe this spring with Edgar still being around and Kevin Seitzer being the hitting coach, that there could be, I don't know, difference in approach, a lot of the same personnel? What's going to be different?
Yeah, I mean, like what they're really trying to do is simplify the approach, focus more on quality of contact, but quality of contact instead of, the elevate and celebrate method they had early on. I think they just got super granular in the analytics and the data. And, Brant Brown, who they brought in, and Jarrett DeHart, these guys were kind of more of the advanced guys, using the metrics, using the video, and trying to look for one specific pitch to hit a homer on versus just have a good quality of bat, hit the ball hard up the middle, particularly with 2 strikes, and try and simplify everything that you do. And I think that's worked out well for them. I know it worked out well for Julio Rodriguez, and that changes the whole math of the lineup. If that guy is good, when that guy is really good, he can really change your whole offense. And we saw last year, that last month pretty much made his numbers not awful because he was so good that last month of the season. And he credits a lot of that to Edgar working with the approach, a couple minor swing changes. And we've seen it more this spring as well, where he just looks more athletic and more in control. He's not falling over after every swing and everything like that. I think that's big. I think they're still going to strike out a fair amount just because of the guys they have always struck out some. But it was when the strikeouts came last year. They were horrible situational hitting as well. Runner on second, less than 2 outs. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. Didn't move them. That was the thing, is like a guy could hit a leadoff double and they wouldn't move off of second base. And I'm not advocating for bunts or anything like that. They just didn't put the ball in play. They struck out too much with runners on base. I hope that the strikeouts are lessened. I hope that they're better that way, because I just can't take another year of emails from old guys complaining about how they need to choke up more and bunt more. I just can't deal with that anymore.
Now let's go back. Did you say elevate and celebrate?
Yeah, it's the whole launch angle thing, the launch angle revolution, elevate and celebrate, hit a home run, get it in the air. That was a big part of, I think, Julio didn't really have an identity of who he was as a hitter. He's still a young kid. And they really got into his head that he needed to hit pull side homers, that when he pulled the ball in the air, he usually went out of the park. There was an extra base hit. That's fine and all, but having him focus on doing that was bad for his swing, bad for his approach. He needs to just focus on hitting the ball hard and good things will happen. Simplify it to the various levels, hitting it up the middle and hitting it to the big part of the park. Then you can pull stuff, you can do everything. And that's where his strength is. And I think that was a problem last year. The messaging got clouded. And then there was some pushback from some of the players who didn't like the messaging or how they handled it. And I think that was another issue. So I do think that what Edgar brings is a more traditional, simplified baseball approach, a hitting approach. Kevin Seitzer is well in line with that. Maybe it's old school, but in the era of looking for inefficiencies in the baseball market, being better at putting the ball in play and being athletic might be that inefficiency, because where they play at, it's not really conducive to home runs for most of the months anyways.
Preach. I think that is dead on. By the way, you've coined some great ones on this program. You never disappoint. Scottsdale Bro, elevate and celebrate. You never disappoint for us in spring training. I wanted to ask you, because there's that theory of players when they get into this analytical world, and as you mentioned, looking for one pitch, they start losing the strike zone. And that was something that when people watched Julio, we didn't watch him every single night, but it's literally, he became an easy out. He was just striking out. He had no clue, strike, ball, what his strike zone is. He just lost how to do it. So did you see that, where all of a sudden he lost what the strike zone is, his strike zone, what to attack, and all of a sudden he's just flailing at stuff that's not even strikes, and he just became just a flat-out easy out?
Yeah, well, it became, because of advanced scouting and stuff, there was a book on how to get him out. Bust him inside with sinkers or fastballs up and in. He couldn't catch up because he was slow to load the bat. And then once you got up, just keep extending away, slider away. Pretty soon you get that swing where his butt's going one way, the bat head's going the other, and he's flailing at it. And that's what happened a ton. And when they made some adjustments late in the season, he was much better. But yeah, there was a book on how to get Julio out. And when you're a star player and you've had success your entire career, adjusting to your first failures is very determinant on your future. And initially he didn't adjust right away, and he didn't he was resistant to some of the suggestions. And then sometimes you have to hit rock bottom as a player and figure it out that, like, hey, what I'm doing is not working and who I'm listening to is not working. And I got to change some things up. And I think with Edgar Martinez coming in at the time he did, it really helped Julio kind of realize a better road for him to have success and be more viable. Like, you know, like it just seemed like Julio was 0-2 all the time because, like, he'd get behind and he just started swinging at everything. And that's not a good way to be.
Let's end on this because we know you're on your way to the ballpark. We know how the Mariners, if things don't go well, what it will look like. But if the Mariners, with this all-world pitching staff and these starters, the Mariners win the division, how does it look?
For them to win the division, like, they need to get probably – so we always said if they got 145 combined starts from their 5 guys, that's a minimum of probably 82 wins just because of how good they are if they stay healthy. You know, if you get 145 starts from Castillo, Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Wu, you know, you're winning more than half those games. You're probably winning 60% because those guys extend. But it's also Matt Brash comes back and he's striking guys out in the 8th. You have a healthy Gabe Spire who's lefty that throws 95, and then Gregory Santos and Jackson Coar, 2 guys that didn't really pitch for him last year. They come back. Like, when the Mariners had their best success, their bullpen was pretty locked down. And last year, their bullpen wasn't locked down. It was pretty much Andres Munoz and a bunch of guys that you'd never really heard of. So that's how the success is. They'll still be with pitching. But if they can just be a league average offense and be league average in terms of with runners in scoring position and situational hitting, that's how they'll do it. They're not going to slug a ton, and they're not going to be a great offensive team. They'll still be relying on pitching, but the bullpen should make them better, and that's how they'll get to 90 wins or so.
All right, since you've been down in Arizona, did you get a tribal tattoo? Did you frost the tips of your hair, or did you get a yellow convertible Jeep?
You know, I was looking. I think purple is the new color from what I've been seeing. A lot of purple. You know, apparently guys now believe that they're all John Stockton, and they're wearing the Lululemon shorts at a 5-inch inseam. So I don't need to walk around knowing who's circumcised and who's not because their shorts are so tight and so little. And it's just really ridiculous on a lot of levels.
You never disappoint. You never disappoint. You are the best on the beat, my friend. Hey, be well, and we'll be talking to you soon as we tee it up first week, Mariners and Athletics.
Yeah, sounds good. See you guys.
See ya. Ryan Divish. Oh, God, he is hilarious. He is, pound for pound, the funniest beat writer in baseball.
It's not even close. I mean,
yeah.
I'm a little offended as someone that transitioned into wearing shorts that are 7-inch or 5-inch inseam. I feel offended by that a little bit, but I get where he's coming from. I'll let it pass.
If there is anybody, if there is a trend, Cody will be on it. Like all of a sudden, Deion Sanders stuff kind of got cool, so he's buying Deion glasses. Pickleball starts up, he's in a pickleball league. If there is something that's trendy, you will be on it. So if it's shorts, you'll be John Stockton passing to Malone. There's no question.
I'll let it pass because Divish was wearing the retro NWO hat.
I saw that.
That's incredible. I mean, wearing the New World Order hat, Hogan, Hall and Nash, that the Change Wrestling. That was cool. I'm going to text him thanks and love the NWO hat. So you're right, never disappoints. The Elevate and Celebrate. Sorry, Diesel is you knew him in WWE.
Wait, Scott Hall.
Yeah,
that's not really his name.
Razor Ramon. Then
He's
WCW.
He's Razor Ramon from Cuba. That's what I was told. When he was going to do WrestleMania against Bret Hart, and they built him up. I can watch all the vignettes on YouTube where they showed him doing all these different things. They were building him up. He's Razor Ramon, and he's from Cuba.
Hola, Chico.
Are you saying that's not real?
Well, he was Scott Hall in WCW, just like Kevin Nash was.
So they tried to take him from what he really was.
Yes. They changed him then. They changed Diesel or Oz, if you remember him back in his early days in WWE, to Kevin Nash. And then
what was the one that I sent? Somebody sent to me. I sent you to guys. I'm like, this has just crushed me. It was Like he wasn't really that person?
Wasn't it Razor Ramon?
Was it Razor Ramon?
I think so,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, it crushed it. When you tell me that those characters years ago, they weren't real, I sent you my man Randy Macho Man Savage kicking the crap out of your guy Steve Austin.
The ringmaster.
Just to show you who the best of the best is.
That was before Stone Cold took off. That's when he was the ringmaster.
Yeah, that's when he was a puppet for the big boys like Macho Man, and he just roughed him up.
I was watching.
Big elbow from the turn. 1, 2, 3. Get 316. Get out of here.
That was pre 316.
Get out of here.
I watched him.
You're a minor leaguer. Steve Austin was a minor leaguer to Randy Macho Man Savage.
Well, so was Macho Man in baseball.
Macho Man was a power hitting catcher in baseball.
Speaking of that, we got to get Brett Phillips on. Now Joey Gallo wants to pitch and Phillips wants to be a pitcher. Maybe think because you mentioned Macho Man, next door neighbor.
Did I send you the thing from, I'm not going to mention her name, former broadcaster. She's a Dodger honk.
Yes.
Okay. I heard this interview. Well, it wasn't necessarily an interview. It was purely Dodger honks responding to people who have talked about how they're not happy with the way Dodgers are basically deferring all of this money. And it's legal what they're doing in the CBA. And the answer was just, well, everybody should shut up and they should all just spend way more money. And I was thinking, like, how ignorant that comment is. Because we have told you that literally there's 863 pitchers used the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, 855. The Dodgers have done a good job of spending money on quality players. But if every team in baseball said, we want to spend like the Dodgers, there's not enough human beings that are worth spending that money. So that's where their theory of stop criticizing us, why don't you do it? Well, how many people really deserve contracts of name a price? 100 million, 200 million, up to 700 million. How many human beings on the planet, when the average baseball player will play 2 to 2.5 years? We always talk about these big names. The average guy plays 2, 2.5, maybe 3 years. They never even see free agency. So your theory that everybody should just go out and spend wildly, that should be the answer. Like, literally, I want to rip this person, but it would not be professional. I want to play what she said and be like, this is just straight ignorance, doesn't understand business. Like that would be saying NFL owners, they want to get rid of the salary cap because they want to go out. Not only do they want to blow a ton of money on the offensive line, they want to blow a ton of money on their backup offensive linemen. You think any NFL owner would be good? Yeah, let's spend more money on backups.
Yeah, not happening.
Right? Do you think ABA owners would want to rip up the salary cap? Because the guys at the end of the bench and sweats and never play, I want to pay them even more money. What do you think they'd say that?
I would say those guys already make a lot of money, but yeah, they wouldn't.
Baseball people are flat out idiots. And they are the model's broken. It shouldn't be. And if you're a person around the Dodgers and your answers are, well, everybody should spend like that. Well, first of all, the only reason why the Dodgers do that is because Time Warner made a ridiculous investment into the Dodgers and their cable. Dodgers are getting $3 million a year, right, in attendance. But if they didn't have that cable deal, they would not be spending any of this money. Their cable deal is the best in baseball. And that's why, because Time Warner wanted to buy into the Los Angeles market. They wanted to be a big player in the Los Angeles market. So they had to way overpay the Dodgers. And if anybody remembers, and if I'll explain it again, there was a time when most people in Los Angeles did not have Time Warner, and people were complaining we can't watch Dodger baseball. Nobody remembers that. Now it's just the Dodgers have this crazy TV deal. They're riding high, and they're looking at everybody flipping the bird. And you'll have this person who people give credibility to her as a broadcaster. And I'm listening going, that is just what you're saying is not factual. It'd be a horrible way to, like, everybody in baseball just spend. You could spend like the Dodgers. There's not enough human beings worth that kind of quality. How many legitimate superstar everyday players are there in baseball? How many guys are worthy of a $300 million contract in baseball? First of all, most guys, and I know we're on in the clubhouse, we love our guys, but let's face it, most guys can walk down the street and people don't even know who they are. So your return on investment, your ROI on a player, what is it for a guy that makes $300 million? So how many guys are really worth $300 million? How many guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars in baseball? Should 30 teams be spending like that? Is there enough guys worthy of that money? We talk about it in the NFL all the time. You can't find 32 guys to start at quarterback.
They used like 60-something quarterbacks last year.
Right?
60.
So this person thinks everybody should just go. The Dodgers have done a good job of spending money on the best talent, but there's only so much best talent. This conversation was so ignorant that I heard. I couldn't even believe it. But that's the problem. We have too many people who are allowed to have microphones and allowed to have cameras who go on the air, and they're absolutely clueless how professional sports work. They're clueless about the business of baseball. It's just it drives me nuts. And I know I probably shouldn't bring it up, but it drives me nuts.
Well, I will say,
here's a great example. Look at all the fallacies we've had to live through, and all of a sudden the A's move to Sacramento, and now we have the highest ticket average in all of baseball. We went from $31 a game to $181 a game. I mean, and you listen to what all these people who supposedly have credibility said. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you're right. And I know we got to go, but this said reporter, journalist, broadcaster made some comments in the past that incensed a lot of people too about who should be in the clubhouse, and that really it wasn't smart.
TJ McFarland, he's funny, he's a great interview, and boy, he's got a rubber arm. He'll join us next right here on A's Cast Live.
Single game tickets are now on sale for the 2025 season. Secure your seats today for opening week against the Chicago Cubs and lots of exciting giveaways, including an A's basketball jersey, a straw hat, and 3 bobbleheads. You'll be nodding yes to our Brent Rooker, Mason Miller, and Lawrence Butler bobbleheads in June and July. More hot ticket homestands as your green and gold take on the Giants, Padres, Yankees, and Mets. Get your tickets at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game time, schedules, and more.
New A's starting pitcher Jeffrey Springs outlines the similarities between the young A's and his old team in Tampa Bay.
A lot of similarities in a lot of the ways, in the sense of like young guys, a lot of talented, young players that are establishing themselves or have, established themselves in the last year or two, and really finding, their way, their path, and kind of, making the adjustments. So it's exciting, watching, the guys throw, the guys hit, and then, like you said, competing against them the last couple of years. The talent, it's exciting, when you kind of have younger guys that are hungry and eager to play. Those can be dangerous teams. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast.
When it comes to knocking it out of the park, nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall. FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
Athletics DH Brent Rooker joined Towny on A's Cast Live during his extension press conference to discuss becoming the face of the franchise.
It's been a wild ride. It's
crazy.
Yeah, it's happened quick. In a sense, and it feels like for me, in a sense, it's kind of taken a long time, obviously, because it took a little bit later into my career for things like this to start to develop. But it's been crazy. It's been fun. I owe a ton to this organization, the people in it, for giving me the opportunity that I was looking for a while, and I'm grateful I was able to take advantage of it and get to this point.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast.
A's Live continues from the studio. Here's Chris Townsend.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. If you're just joining us, this is the St. Patrick, and you're sorry, 650 in Sacramento. And sorry, 95.5 KWNR FM, the Bull HD2 in Las Vegas. But if you're watching on Twitter or you're watching on A's Cast, this is the 2019 St. Patrick's Day hat from the Tokyo Dome. So where's the clover? Where is it? Right here?
No, other side. The left side, yeah. Right there.
Right here. A's legend and Hall of Famer Steve Vucinich made sure I got this hat. It's one of my favorite A's hats, and I keep it safe, and I barely bust it out. Very, very rare. And if you look around baseball, I was watching today on MLB Network, the Marlins and the Mets, they had their St. Patrick's Day hats. So they're always fun. I love when people get them and we see them at the ballpark. Pretty cool. But this one is the special one from Tokyo. And
I don't think I've ever seen you wear the hat before. I've seen it, but I don't think I've ever seen you wear it.
Yeah, I rarely, but there's a few of my, like I don't bust this one out often. This is one of my favorites right here. And once again, that's horrible for radio. I hear it, but I'm showing people. It's the All-Star hat. When they started doing, everybody got their own individual, each player, they created All-Star hats. So each guy, so they created an All-Star. That's that we had all those All-Stars in 2014. This is the hat that they all wore. My guy, Josh Donaldson.
There's a lot of All-Stars. Donaldson, wasn't Moss an All-Star?
Cespedes.
I guess we technically
Samardzija got traded over.
I guess we technically could claim Samardzija as one. Wasn't Brandon not Moss.
Scott Kazmir.
Derek Norris.
Yeah, we had a ton of All-Stars. How'd that work out?
They got to the postseason.
TJ McFarland. TJ McFarland last year had 79 appearances. So we had to go in the record books and start to look that the record was Billy Koch.
Yeah, for A's athletics record, Billy Koch, 84, yeah.
Yasmero Petit had a couple in there in the 80s.
Yeah, there's a couple. The record overall was the great Mike Marshall in the 70s with the Dodgers. 106, yeah. And then it was like Solomon Torres was the next closest.
Mike Marshall, there's 162 games. He pitched in 106.
It's incredible.
And he gave you multiple innings. He holds the record. He's second place all the time. I mean, but just TJ McFarland 79 times. So, and that doesn't count all the times you get up and down and up and down and up and down. You basically pitch in half the games. That is tremendous value. TJ McFarland, by the way, and I actually had a conversation with Johnny Dasco about this because he reminds me of what Jerry Blevins is now. And I know Blevins is doing a lot of stuff for the Mets, and he'll be doing, I think, a little bit for us this year. TJ McFarland can be a guy that when he retires can start doing some TV and some radio for us.
Absolutely.
We'll call it streaming by then. Everything will be streaming by then. It's not far away. Everything will be just streaming. But yeah, that I could see him being a part of our broadcast team for years to come. He's that good. But 79 appearances last year. Unbelievable. 35 years old. You'll hear right here. As long as his wife says he's okay to play, he's still going to play. He can play forever. TJ McFarland, great personality, had a terrific year last year. Here was our conversation with him down at spring training. TJ McFarland's with us here on A's Cast Live. And, of course, I went to him like, he is such a great interview that you're tough to book these days.
Yeah, I'm
like
booking up
I got to go
fast.
through like your booking agent to get you
There's
on.
a couple filters you got to go through, 3 different people. So, but I'm here. Yeah,
My
we're here.
people to your people to – well, we had to look it up because if you don't realize – he pitched in 79 games last year. I thought it was 80, but it was 79 games. Amazing. Yasmero Petit recently, we remember with the A's, did so much. He did 80, but 79. I mean, How proud are you of this feat?
Yeah, extremely. Obviously, first and foremost, it's just the confidence that Kotz and the rest of the team in the front office has in me to even give me the opportunity of 79 games. So I was able to come over last year, and for them to even allow me to get that many games, it just means the world to me. But on top of that, yeah, staying healthy, being durable, that's kind of been everything that I've tried to strive for throughout my whole career, and it came to a head last year.
Because, we didn't get to really know you the first time around because it was the COVID year. I remember I did like a Zoom interview with you. You probably don't even remember it. And it was like having you back. We remember 2020. Of course, team won the division. It was a big deal. But that was the COVID year. So really getting to meet you last year was a lot of fun. And do you even know what your high was before the 79?
Oh, it had to be in the 40s, maybe 50.
51 with Arizona. So, I mean, that is... You got to be pretty
It's a bit of a jump, yeah.
You got to be pretty damn good to have them say, yeah, we're going to have this guy pitch 79 times. You pitch half the season.
Half the season, yeah. I wanted to. We were talking earlier, and yeah, obviously 81 for me is the number. I would love to get to 81 because then I can hang my hat at the end of the year and be like, I pitched in 50% of the games this year. I helped my team win half the time, which is amazing. As a reliever, that would be a huge feat. Fell short of it a little bit, but who knows? Maybe this year I'll be able to get it.
So last year, we had you on close to the end of the year in the treehouse, and we were like, what's your future going to be like? It's like, we don't quite know. What was it like this offseason to go, oh, yeah, athletics, this is, let's get this done. I want to be back.
Well, yeah, I mean, the front office and even Kotz was adamant about like, hey, let's try to get something done. And I obviously was too because I loved it here. I saw what they were building here. I wanted to be a part of it. I knew this year was going to be a pivotal year in terms of like turning it around.
Yeah.
Not so much of like just developing, but like, hey, we're here to win. So I kind of wanted to be a part of that. And I can say that I'm not so much on the ground floor that I got in, but I got in at a time where I'm helping, shape a team into what it could become. So, no, early on, I think I kind of set up my mind. I wanted to come back, and then we were able to negotiate and get something done. So happy.
Well, think about your career, and you've played with quite a few teams, and you start thinking about what you see now. So tell everybody, because this is also we have A's Cast and all of our fans that we've had, but now we're on in Sacramento for the first time. People have always been able to watch in Sacramento, but now we're on a Sacramento station. So if people are coming to us for the first time, kind of tell them what kind of young athletes and what kind of club they're looking at in that clubhouse.
No, we do. We have a young team, and I'm going to preface that because it is still a young team. But at the same time, that youth has already been in the big leagues for going on close to 3 seasons. And that's the year that you start to see everything kind of turn from just developing into a big leaguer to knowing they're big leaguers, and now they're going to take the step forward. So I think this is a perfect time for Sacramento to see us because this is when we're going to start actually hitting the ground running, and winning is going to be a huge part of that this year.
TJ McFarland with us here on A's Cast. And sometimes, and like anything in life, you get your ass kicked enough, you got to learn from that. You're going to go one of two ways, and there's something about these young guys that have gotten it handed to them that they've now kind of figured it out. You get tougher as you go through that process, and you're seeing I'm seeing it. You tell me, but when I'm doing these interviews, I'm seeing these young guys' confidence is so different than what it was in the past.
Oh, big time, and that being comfortable in the big leagues takes a long time, and it takes a lot of reps, and it takes a lot of opportunity, which all these guys have gotten. And the good thing about last year too is, not to diminish what we did, but there was a little spit there where we did really, really well. And I think these young guys got a taste of winning, and they don't want to go back. We're not going back to anything else besides this is a winning ball club. And I think everybody's on page with that, and they're going to turn some heads.
Okay, so when you look at Severino signing, that was part of a culture change. You look at Rooker signing the extension, culture change. And then you show up and Mark Kotsay gets an extension, but it's the longest extension in all of baseball. I think the A's manager is the most security of anybody in baseball. Just what does that say for you as a symbol of change and that things are changing compared to what it's for most of your career? You probably thought, you come to the A's, at some point you're going to get shipped out because of money. There's a change going on. You have to feel it.
No, these are huge signings for us, bringing in those guys. huge free agents that are going to change the makeup of the team. Like I said, you're bringing in guys that have won before, that have been in big spots, that have thrown the last out of the World Series in one of the guys that we got in the bullpen this year in Leclerc. So, you're bringing in guys that are winners. And then when you do that, you start to see teams take the next step. And I think that's a huge thing for the young guys to kind of see this offseason and turn some heads and be like, oh, listen, no, everyone's on board. Like, we are on board, but even the front office is on board and everyone's on board. We're going to start winning. Like, we're winning, and we're a winning ball club.
You talk about Miller, you talk about Leclerc, we had Holman on, you have Ferguson, Otañez, yourself. You start looking at all these guys. Bullpens eat up a lot more innings than when you first started. I mean, it has changed. It's about almost 50%. So talk to us what you see with the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I'm a reliever, so I'm always going to say that
you're
the most important
You're the
part.
veteran kind of leader of these guys.
It is. It's big. When you have a bullpen that can shut down a game and shorten a game from the 5th inning on, it just relieves so much pressure on the offense, on the starters, overall as a team. So right now I think we have a bullpen that has the capability of doing that. We brought in some new guys, and we have some returning young studs that we know are going to be a long-lasting threat in the big leagues. So in order for us to continue winning and kind of go down that road that we're talking about, the bullpen has to step up in a big way, and I think we're primed to do that.
So if you're actually watching this, you'll see that I have my phone out, and because I wanted to look at the exact year at the age of 24 in 2013, you came up with the Orioles, you pitched 38 games. If I would have told you in 2013 at the age of 24 that you'd still be pitching and you're going to at some point be 36 here in 2025, what would you have said?
I don't know if I would. That's like 12. That's 13 years. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have thought you were lying. If you would have told me I would throw the most games in my entire career in one season at the age of 35, I definitely wouldn't have believed you.
No way. You would have took the under in that.
Yeah, definitely taking the under on that. I stayed healthy. I'm a lefty that has a pulse, and I stayed healthy, so I was able to hang around. And I've revitalized myself a few times throughout my career, and you got to adjust. But yeah, last year was fantastic. Fell into a spot and really found a really good niche and a nice role here with Oakland, or Sacramento now, I guess.
Yeah, well, life's about fits, right? Being good fits, and this fit has been great. And I think we'll end on this. One of the cool things about where you're at in your career, because I know with the kids and everything, things change, but it's kind of the world's your oyster. It's like how long you want. Not too many times can you say, as long as I want to do it, but that's kind of where you are in your career.
No, it is. I think every player, unfortunately, I'd say big majority of players don't get to choose when they stop playing. The game chooses. There's a very small percentage that actually get to ride off into the sunset on their own accord. So for me, that's a huge thing. I say that, but I think I told you this last year too. I don't think it's up to me. I think it's going to be up to my wife whether or not I can continue playing, because that's
not the game. It's not the front office. It's the wife decides.
She might decide. But no, right now everything's great. I'm healthy. I'm returning to a team that I'm comfortable with, and can't be more thrilled to be a part of this.
Well, we want you on this year as much as possible. So how much in advance do I have to go to your people to book you to get you on the show?
Well, it's kind of like it's like a hot restaurant right now. It's like 2 months.
Yeah,
booking up fast. So we're gonna have to fill some dates.
Gonna have to go to Open Table and figure that out.
Yeah, we are. A few beers.
Hey, you're the best.
Thanks a lot.
And stay healthy, and can't wait to see you in Sacramento.
That's the name of the game. Thanks for having me.
It's a long season. And when you start talking about what the team looks like, the first 26, then where it is in the middle of the year, where it is at the end of the year, it takes a lot of guys to get you through. But if you can have somebody like that who goes 79 times, that is such a weapon for you. And who knows? Hopefully you've got 2 guys that give you a closing option. Otañez comes back. That gives you 3 guys that gives you a closing option. I mean, you still can. Tyler Ferguson can help you out. Otañez has a little thing with his shoulder. He's not going to start the season ready to rock, but he should be back. Leclerc, you're hoping he rebounds to the World Series dominator that he was.
Yeah. pitching like every day.
And then you have Mason Miller as one of the special arms in the game. Who, oh, by the way, is on my fantasy team. Clearly, out of all the people who work for the A's, I'm the guy that has faith, and I drafted all the A's players because I have faith in this team.
It's gonna be brutal when the A's have an off day.
I'll wear it. But yeah, I got Rook, I got Law, I got Butler, I got Langoliers. Huh?
You said Law and Butler. Same guy.
I mean Langoliers.
Blade,
and Miller. I put my money where my mouth is for this team. You guys clearly don't feel the same way, but that's okay. I'll remind everybody in our league when the A's are having a really good year and I'm killing it with all the A's on my fantasy team, who believed and who didn't. I'll remind everybody when we're up in Sacramento.
Looking forward to it.
What can we do to make fantasy baseball more attractive? Because it's been huge for the NFL. Huge. And really everybody could sit back and listen on this one because the NBA needs it. NBA, NHL, everybody needs more. There's golf fantasy, tennis fantasy. Like football cornered the market. They weren't the first, but they figured it out. I get so tired of hearing, well, it's 1 day a week. You know what? The NFL is not 1 day a week. The NFL is 3 to 4 days a week. So, but they made it. I don't know if it's the sport, what they did. To me, baseball, whenever you talk fantasy, people go, too much work. That is the number one thing. It's too much work. And if it's too much work, that means a lot of people aren't going to play it. Because everybody plays fantasy football. It is amazing the millions of people, the millions, as you used to like with The Rock, play fantasy. People of all walks of life are in all kinds of fantasy leagues. We make baseball fantasy way too hard. And it's baseball nerds who are doing it. We need to make it easier. How do we make fantasy baseball to where everybody wants to play it? At least baseball fans really want to be involved. How do we change it? If I made you fantasy guru commissioner of all fantasy baseball, how would you make it? Because right now it's a day-to-day slog.
I think that's the biggest part. The biggest problem with it is it's literally people don't want to do it every day. Now, you could do like what I do and a lot of people do is you could beginning of the week, set your lineup each day and put your pitchers in who are probable to pitch. And then you can just look back if someone gets hurt or whatnot. You could do it that way, or you can grind it literally every day, 162 games and set it. I think that's what you mentioned. It scares people off that they have to pay attention every day. Where football, you set your lineup and then people will, they get addicted to it and they pay attention to it every day. This is where I think there's lies about this. Because people who get into fantasy football, they start paying attention, right? They start paying attention to stuff every day. Waiver wires, trades, all these different things. They may go in thinking baseball is too much, but they're doing it every day anyway with NFL. So they actually do NFL every day. Yeah, depending on what type of league you're in for football, like usually your waiver wire doesn't open until Wednesday because you want the last game to end. Then you have the day. They have the day in between.
You have Monday night football.
Then there's a day. Then
there's Thursday night football.
So usually Wednesday's the first day of the week where you can start adding players if you have injuries and whatnot. And then you have Thursday night football. And then later in the year you have Saturday. But
once again, you set and you wait. But the fact that if you're telling somebody that every single day that you have to set it and you have to do it by a certain time, and oh my God, how did I know that the Marlins were playing a day game? And now, it's like. I'm asking you, don't tell me how it's hard. Fix it for me. How do I get everybody involved? We could have this crazy A's Cast league and make everybody eat. How would you do it? How would you sell it to people to make people want to do it?
I think that's the way you want to start doing it, is you make it fun. Like, hey, we're going to start a league. Come join with us. Be part of the league with, like, I don't know, the broadcasters. Something like be part of our A's Cast. Like, that's how you could start getting people in, and then they see what it's like day to day. Where football, you're right. I mean, my wife did fantasy football last year.
He won't answer the question.
I don't know how to fix it.
I'm making you the commissioner of all fantasy for a day. How do you make baseball fantasy far more enjoyable? You've already told us, and we already know the day-to-day slog is not going to work.
There's also not. We need a baseball red zone channel first of all, like how NFL red zone and.
I agree with that. Fix fantasy. Tell me how you fix fantasy.
That's a big, like, everyone watches NFL red zone. That's a big deal. Like that for fantasy. I watch it every Sunday. Like if you had something like that, I think you can get more people involved because they can pay attention every single day what games are going on. So that might be a good starter.
So we go to Milwaukee where there's runners on second and third.
Yeah.
And have it all going.
Yeah, you can do stuff like that. It's how if you got multiple people hosting you. I mean, I don't know if you want to have the same person. Like Scott Hansen did NFL Red Zone forever. So does. But like for baseball, you maybe have a couple different people studio hosting it. You could be through MLB Network.
It'd have to be
whoever.
throughout the day because our games are throughout the day.
Yeah. So exactly. I mean, that might be a good way to start it, doing something like that.
But the thing is that most people
incorporate gambling like NFL does, where baseball doesn't do that.
We have to figure out a way to make it less. Oh my God, my guy's hurt. My guy's not hurt. My guy's not playing today. You got to make it so you don't have to log on it. People have lives. The hardcore fantasy people, no offense, but it's like our most hardcore fantasy people probably don't have kids.
That's probably. I mean,
right. I mean, when you have kids and you got career, you got kids, you got all that. It's tough to be like, oh my God, what do I have going today with my fantasy team? That's a struggle. We have to get rid of that to make fantasy baseball what we think it could be. Because yes, when you don't have kids, and I'm telling you, it's a whole different ball game. And I see like people who have multiple fantasy teams, like you, like. Now, I'm not saying that I'm putting a wide blanket because there's people who have a bazillion fantasy football teams, and yes, they have kids too. But I'm just saying I see on the norm is people who are huge fantasy people, their lives aren't as complicated.
I can see where
you're not coaching a little league team. You're not doing this. You're not. You don't have all this going. Then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, Logan Gilbert's not going today, and I have him pitching.
You know, this might sound weird, but I think maybe the time of the year plays a part too, where people in the spring and summertime don't want to pay attention. Where football, it's fall and winter, where more people are inside and they want to pay attention to football.
That's why I'm commissioning you to figure out how we make it.
You know who the guy
more fun and easier.
You know who's the guy we should ask us about, because we're going to talk to him soon. Is Eno Saris.
But he's not fun. That's the problem. He's a dork too, as he said. He's a baseball nerd. Problem is the baseball nerds are running this. So they don't have the perspective of they want it to be hard. They want you, when they're in their leagues, they want you to not pay attention every day. They want to win. I get it. Al Davis, just win, baby. But I'm trying to think to what's best is trying to figure out how we can all do it, make it easy for everybody to do it. Because I'm the type of person, I'm terrible at it. Because I wake up and I have a lot of responsibilities during the day. So I don't have time to sit there. I forget. I got other things far more important than my second baseman has the day off. And like, sorry, I got real world stuff going on. So it's hard. So how do you make it easier? I only do it because I want to be part of the group.
I think that's why a lot of people do fantasy. I mean, even with football, I think people do it because they want to do it for fun and be a part of the group. And then,
well, it is fun.
Fantasy football. And then you always have you have the people that the punishments, like we mentioned some of them before, where even people are dressed, they try to dress up and go places. Now people are going on like 24-hour flights where they have to fly around all day long for fantasy punishments, or go to a Waffle House and eat so many pancake or waffles, go to a bar and be spend 24 hours.
I've never heard of that. You've got to fly around the earth for 24 hours.
So it's something like people pick random spots for you to go and you have to fly like continuously for 24 hours or something like that. I've seen that one come around more often. There's ones where you have to spend like 24 hours in a bar, and for every drink and shot you have, it knocks off an hour, half an hour. So there's so many different, like, more creative ways people are doing punishments, where baseball, it's 162 games and no one really thinks about that.
Yeah, we got to make our sport fun. ABS has made things fun, right? There's certain things that's why the ABS system, from a gambling standpoint, at some point we'll be able to bet striker ball. Right? That's why ABS is coming in.
That's why I said I think gambling's a big because
gambling's a big part. We will start incorporating more gambling this season than ever before because we're going to Vegas. And people need to realize that the Las Vegas audience, when they view games, a lot of them view games with a background in gambling. Like, that's just their world. When you live down in Las Vegas, everything you're going to look at point spreads and over and unders and money line, and you're going to be that's how a lot of people view sports. So we're going to be talking to this new audience. We're going to incorporate more of this to where usually it was so taboo. Oh, but it's not taboo anymore.
Sorry, I'm smiling. Road Trip Mike texts me to tell Towny golf is not a responsibility.
Wow, shots fired. Shots fired. Very good, Road Trip. Very good.
See, look.
That's off season. In season, I don't play golf in season. That's why I play golf every day in the off season, because in season, I'm on the air. Do you realize I'm on the air longer than the actual games? I do more content a day than the actual games.
It's true. I mean,
you want to log my airtime versus Korak, Dosky, Kavnar, Carey, Dallas. I will easily go pound for pound 7 days a week. Who's on live more than? Oh, you want to go word for word?
See, this is where I'll sit in the corner and watch you guys go at it like you did with our broadcast.
You want to do a word count every day between all of us? See who does more in 162 games? It's not even close. Wow. Even my most loyal people are turning on me.
15 seconds.
All right. A's and Mariners coming up next. We'll see everybody tomorrow, 11 o'clock. Seth Brown and who else?
Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. We have day off tomorrow. Wednesday, 11 o'clock, Seth Brown. A's Mariners next.
When it comes to knocking it out of the park, nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall. FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
This has been a presentation of The Athletics.